Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to review the already 6-year-old Surface Pro 3 and see how it fares in 2020. First, let's talk about specs. This unit here is equipped with an Intel i5 4th generation CPU. Even though it's an aged CPU, it fairly holds well for light or medium tasks. It has 8GB RAM, so you can open 4 to 5 tabs in Chrome or Firefox with a breeze. It is also equipped with a 256GB SSD, enough for basic tasks like saving documents or light videos or photos. If you want to expand the storage, you can do so with an included microSD card slot for expansion for the future. You have two cameras, one in the front and one in the back. Obviously you won't be taking photos using them, but they might be useful for taking notes or video calls. The Surface Pro 3 don't come with an included Surface keyboard, but you actually have to buy it extra. Here I have the Surface Pro 4 keyboard, and if you're thinking of buying the Type keyboard for the Surface, I really recommend the newer one over the older one, as the keys are more space and the trackpad is much larger. For the typing experience, I'm really surprised how nice the keyboard feels when typing, even with this thin form factor. And I was also surprised that it has backlit keys for night use. As of the usability of the Surface, it's a bit finicky while in use in bed or lap, honestly, and I prefer a laptop to use in bed instead. And using it as a tablet is definitely doable, but remember, this is a 12-inch tablet, so it won't be comfortable for some to use as such. The screen seems to be sharp, thanks to the 1440p screen resolution. But for the brightness, it is very dim compared to almost every laptop or phone in today's world, as I always keep it at 70% to balance between battery life and brightness, instead of the 50% that I used to keep in my Dell XPS 13. The pen is the greatest addition for this device, and I actually bought it exclusively for this reason. Even though the Surface Pro 3 have only 256 levels of pressure compared to the whopping 4096 level of pressure seen in the newer models, it fares very well for note-taking and simple drawing. Writing in the Surface feels very pleasant, especially when you can use the back of the pen for erasing. But sometimes when I put my palm on the Surface, it senses it as a touch input in the screen and it misses the screen. And sometimes it feels very annoying, and so I have always to touch the tip of the pen first on the screen, then my palm, so the palm rejections in the Surface kicks in. The Surface is usually quiet in my experience, but that's because I use Edge instead of Firefox or Chrome, as I notice using them will make the fans start spinning. But when I'm charging the Surface, even opening something simple as OneNote can make the fans start kicking, and it notably heats up to 60 degrees in moderate use while charging. This doesn't bother me, but it makes charging the Surface a bit slower compared to charging it in idle mode. Gaming is definitely the weakest point for the Surface, as it even struggles playing Rocket League at the lowest possible settings. It can only achieve 45 frames per second, that without mentioning, if you are charging the Surface, it will thermal throttle and decrease the performance drastically after a couple of minutes. This thermal throttling issue does not appear in day-to-day use, but only when pushing the Surface to the limit. I feel like I might fix this issue with changing the thermal paste in the heatsink, but I would not dare to open the Surface, since you need to open it from the screen and that could damage it, and I don't want to risk doing that. For the battery, even with a tiny 40 watt that the Surface includes, I can easily squeeze about 5 to 6 hours of moderate use, with a brightness of 70%. You might achieve 9 hours if you're doing very light tasks as taking notes in Word. So in conclusion, is the Surface Pro 3 worth it in 2020? My answer would be definitely yes. If you're a student with a limited budget and you're looking for pen support or office work and look for light laptop/tablet, I would very much recommend getting it, especially the deals that you can find for the Surface. For example, I got mine for 800 dirhams used, and that equals $217. The unit was used for 1 year, as the former user claimed, and it included the keyboard. This is even cheaper than 99% of laptops in the market. though I was forced to buy the pen since the person that I bought it from lost it. This costed me extra $100, which is still a good deal. As for tips, if you are buying it used, always check the specs of the Surface and check the capacity of the battery by typing power cfg/battery report in the CMD command. This would tell you how much capacity is left in the battery. So tell me, what do you think about the Surface Pro 3? And let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe and share this video. See you next time. Have a good day.